Hello, Nardath here, doing this for a second time because my camera just fucked up and just stopped recording automatically for no reason. Anyways, so this daily flip number 4 will be about learning new tricks from the very beginning and then transitioning to learning how to freestyle when you're becoming more like an intermediate or advanced. So, starting off with learning tricks, first you want to learn on a blade edge. Learning on a trainer is said to develop, you're prone to develop bad habits like ricocheting off both sides of the blade without really thinking, or going to chaplain and then chaplaining from blade to on the blade edge, or not really thinking about the blade edge when you're scissoring. So that's what they say. I mean, I can't testify for anyone who learned on the trainer and then switched over, but that's what people say. People say that people who learn on trainers switching to blade edges will be more hesitant and will have a longer time getting used to flipping on a blade, and will always feel eventually more comfortable going back to a trainer. So basically, I learned on a blade edge. Starting off, I did have trainers, but I never learned on trainers. I remember when I first learned, I had like 21 cuts on my index, just like lined up there, like on my finger. Just like cutting myself every time I flipped when I first started. And that was just part of the game, like we suffer through it and you make videos through it, and you have battles, like you had battles to have due dates, so you would just make your videos, over finger, like taped up fingers and all that stuff. So so basically learn on a blade edge. So first of all, it's all about learning how to develop muscle memory on your fingers on certain tricks where it becomes natural. So when you're first learning new tricks like the double or rollout, you want to get very comfortable with a double rollout, right? Because if you watch tutorials, watch the basic stuff, right? Like Cutlery Lover has a few basic tutorials. People like Calvination, Bite Handle. I got a couple there, but mine are a bit more advanced. I only have like 5. Anyways, there's a couple of guys who make really good tutorials out there, and go watch them. And then basically what I tell people is you learn a trick and you want to master it, and you want to be able to be comfortable with it in always getting in and out of this certain trick, like the full twirl, right? Full twirl is basically the second trick I learned, right? So the full twirl is the basic for a lot of tricks, right? So basically you just need to learn how to full twirl to the point where it becomes natural. Then you can start learning scissoring, right? Which is just adding an aerial to it, right? Right? So then you start learning other tricks that are very simple. Like I like behind the 8-ball. That was one of maybe the 4th trick I learned. So you learn behind the 8-ball, and then you learn the helix. The helix is another horizontal trick, and you can add the behind the 8-ball right after, right? So then you start learning different tricks, one after the other, and then adding them back to back in different combinations, and then you start developing small little maneuvers to go, from behind the 8-ball to scissor. You eventually start building combos out of the tricks that you learned before, in the past. So but you need to have the muscle memory so that you can go from one and then figure out a way to go to the next one, until it becomes natural, right? So it takes a lot of practice. You won't be good. You won't just get good in a year, and then you'll be, some kids, and honestly I say that, but honestly, the more you practice, the more the quicker you're gonna get better, right? So the quicker you're gonna learn more tricks, just by repeating the stuff right? So the way I did it when I started was I would learn a trick a day, and honestly that's a lot of tricks. But that day I would do that trick maybe for a cumulative of 4 hours, right? So I would learn the full twirl, right? I would do the full twirl, and then I would just practice the full twirl and the finger, this one, all right? Or I would learn the behind the 8 ball, right? So I would learn behind the 8 ball, and then I would learn behind the 8 ball, and then add a helix, right? And then it just became, after a while, you start building your own little routines, your own style, and that's how you develop your style, right? So basing other tricks and combos on other tricks and combos that you've seen and you've done from other people. Basically, it's hard to come out of nowhere and just make your own style, right, without sounding crazy. Clean style, right? So a lot of stuff has already been done. You need to learn the basics, learn the fundamentals, right? So, you're not going to learn how to, pop helix aerial without learning how to helix, right? So you need to learn how to do a behind the 8 ball. Step number 1. Step number 2 is learning how to do the regular helix aerial, and then you can add the pop, right? And then you can add the pop, tap, pop again, right? Like, so it's all stages. And then the fun thing about balisong tricks is that every trick can be done reversed, backwards, vertical, upside down, so 0G, Chaplin, right? Vertical, this is reverse, right? Back to vertical, back to 0G, right? Like, every trick can be reversed. So when you come up with a new trick, you need to think in your head, okay, so is it just index roll, Chaplin to index roll, or is it a new trick? Because a new trick can be modified, can be done a million ways. The perfect example that I use all the time is the choker fan, right? So the choker fan was unlike anything it came out with, right? This revolutionized the balisong game, right? So after a while, when you start doing tricks one after the other, your muscle memory becomes to the point where you know what trick leads you to the next one, and you just do whatever feels natural. But that takes a long time and a lot of practice. So that's basically all I have to say about learning new tricks. Master all the tricks you know. Learn how to link them together in different orders, and push yourself at discovering new combos, new tricks, and adding them reversed, mutating them and doing it in different order, right? So go out there and explore shit, right? Because no matter how much tricks are done today and new tricks are being developed, it's limitless, right? We're coming up with new shit all the time. So there's no limits to freestyle sports. Skateboarding has been getting better year and year after years go by. Same thing with balisongs, right? People are doing some crazy shit now. Doubles, toe catches, morning poop, aerials, jester, butterfly, fucking crazy hack aerials now. So basically, there's no rules. If you want to fucking do cleave style and only do cleave style, you fucking only do cleave style. It's all up to you. There's some etiquettes, but ultimately, you do what the fuck you want. If you want to flip and not record yourself, don't flip, don't record yourself, all right? Or flip and don't record yourself. It doesn't matter, all right? Nowadays, it's all about sharing and showing what you can do, and showing that you can do stuff, right? Because back in the day, you say, hey, man, I just landed a triple scissor. The first person that on the chat would just say, boom, vid or shut the fuck up, right? Show what you can do, back yourself up, and I'm kind of rambling now, so, and I dropped the knife maybe like 2 minutes ago. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. See you tomorrow. Oh, and by the way, do you prefer this lighting or with this on? Let me know.